All right, guys, here we go. So, guys, we're going to go over the study guide, and this is going to be the video that's put on the website, on YouTube. So, again, you're taking your first quiz next class, which will be Tuesday of next week. Here we go. Number one, it just says simplify each expression, and make sure that you're showing your work. So, everybody, right now, throw this in the calculator. Let's practice that. Make sure that you have the parentheses in the right place. If you have any question raising something to the third power, please let us know. I'm going to work it out. So the first thing you would do if you were going step by step would be to add 3 and 2 since they're in parentheses. Bring down. Next step is going to be to do exponents. What's next here, guys? Multiply here. So negative 7 plus 500. The answer that I got was 493. Do you guys agree? Very good. Yes. It's good to do both. It's really, really good, guys, to be able to put it in the calculator accurately, but also be able to work it out step by step. So I want you to practice doing both here. All right, moving on to number 2. In case you didn't know, there's actually invisible parentheses around these. So if you're going to put it in the calculator, make sure that the entire numerator has parentheses around it. And then divided by the entire denominator in parentheses has that. So here we go. I'm going to do exponents first. So I get 5 times 9 minus 5 times 16 divided by, I can just do that, 5. Continuing, I'm going to multiply here. 5 times 9 is 45. Guys, let's talk about this real fast. If I'm doing negative 5 times 16, is that going to give me a positive or a negative number?
Negative.
It's going to give me a negative number. So since it's going to give me a negative number, I do minus negative 80 over 5, and then I combine. 45 minus 80 is negative 35. And then negative 35 divided by 5. Did you guys get negative 7 on your calculator? Anybody? Very good. That's a good sign, guys. Any questions? Any questions at all? Good? Good. Can you help me out? Can you clear and move down? Because I really need to move the toolbar to the side, but we can just do that after we record. Thank you. All right, number 3. So now, guys, we're plugging in. What are we plugging in for x? The first thing you do on this one, guys, I want everyone to write down what it looks like. What are we plugging in? We're plugging negative 4 in. Now, since we're plugging in a negative number, I need to make sure that I put parentheses around the number. So here's what it should look like. Everybody write this down. Negative 3, parentheses. Negative 4, in parentheses by itself. Again, when we plug a negative number into something that's being raised to an exponent, we always put parentheses around it. Squared minus 9. So you can practice putting this in your calculator. I'm going to evaluate it without. Bless you. This is negative 3 times negative 4 squared. When you multiply something by itself, you're always going to get a positive number. So this is 16 minus 9. Negative 3 times 16 is negative 48. Negative 48 minus 9 is going to be negative 57. Anybody get that on your calculator? Did you do it yet, or you got the wrong thing? That says negative 9. That needs to so watch the second entry. You can go back up. It should not say negative 9. What should it say? Minus 9. Did it say error, by the way?
No.
It didn't?
Just easy,
Right. Yeah. It's because that should be positive 16, because when you square negative 4, when you square negative 4, you get positive 16, because the negative times the negative is a positive. Moving on. Number 4, I'm plugging in 3, so I have the absolute value symbol, negative 6 times 3, minus 2 times 3 squared, absolute value, minus 12. So absolute value, negative 18, minus 2 times 9, minus 12. I'm going to do this at once because I'm running out of room. Negative 2 times 9, this is going to turn into negative 18 or minus 18. And then negative 18 minus 18 is going to be negative 36, so I have the absolute value of negative 36 minus 12. And then the absolute value of negative 36 is positive 36. So I have 36 minus 12, which obviously is just 24. Anybody get that in your calculator? Good job. Am I going too fast? Okay. So throw that in your calculator and ensure that you can get that. We want to make sure. I'm going to pause the recording real fast. All right, number 5. So this one has a cube root in it. So let me write it out. Cube root of, see how the 9x guys are both underneath the cube root symbol, the radical symbols. So I'm going to make sure that they are. So 9 times my x value, which is 3. Now, is the minus 2y underneath my cube root symbol? It is not. So that goes on the outside. Minus 2 times my y, which is 12. So when you put this in the calculator, guys, make sure that you understand that you have to close your parentheses underneath the cube root symbol to tell the calculator that this is the end of what's underneath the cube root symbol. So let's evaluate this. Well, 9 times 3 is 27, so I have 27 underneath. And then let me do this. Negative 2 times 12 is negative 24. Yes? What do I do next? I do this, guy. The cube root of 27 is 3. So then I have 3 minus 24, and 3 minus 24 is negative 21. Yeah? See a lot of heads nodding. That's good. You want me to pause, or can I move on? Okay. All right, here we go, number 6. The square root of 3. Look, guys, all of this, the entire expression is underneath the square root symbol. So 3 times my a value, which is negative 4, so negative 4 squared, minus my b value, which is, I can put it in parentheses, I don't have to, negative 1. Any questions with how I plugged it in? Good? Here we go. So underneath the square root symbol here, I have to do exponents first. So this is 3 times negative 4 squared. What's negative 4 squared? 16. Now watch this. Guys, what's minus a negative? What happens here when you have two negatives next to each other? It turns into a plus sign. Good. I'm still underneath. So now 3 times 16 is going to give me 48. 48 plus 1 is going to give me 49. And guys, what's the square root of 49? 7. 7. Good? That helpful? Yes? In the calculator? Or just without the calculator? So when you're finding a cube root, like the cube root of 27, it's just saying what number times itself 3 times gets you 27. You got to think about it. So, like if you tried 2, 2 times 2 times 2, well 2 times 2 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8, it's not 2. You try 3. 3 times 3 is 9, 9 times 3 is 27. Boom, it's 3. All right, moving on, guys. Oops. All right, let's do 7 quickly here. All right, here's a word problem. The expression 9/5 C plus 32 represents, this is a cool formula, represents the temperature in degrees Fahrenheit for a temperature given in degrees Celsius C. What is the temperature in degrees Fahrenheit if a thermometer reads 25 degrees Celsius? So guys, what we're doing now is we're just taking numbers and substituting them in, right? So we're going to take 25 and do what with it? What are we doing here? We're going to substitute that in for C, right there. So let's write that out. So this is going to be 9/5 times what? Times 25 plus 32. So in your calculator, you would do 9 divided by 5 times 30 or times 25 plus 32, and you're going to get a number. So if I'm just doing it right here, I'm going to actually make this into a fraction. Cancel, cross cancel. This turns into a 5. So I know that 9/5 times 25 is actually 45. And then 45 plus 32 is 77. You guys get that in your calculator? Good? Moving on. All right, let's do these. So guys, we are translating now. Here we go. Number 8, the difference. Right away when you see difference, what do we put? We're going to subtract 2 things. Now here's what I'm going to subtract. The difference of, here's what comes first. The difference of what? The square root of x. So where does that go? On the left or the right? On the left. On the square root of x. And 9. Where does the 9 go? Boom. Again, if it doesn't say than or from, you do not switch the order. Number 9. 9 less than. Right away I see less than. I know that I'm going to switch order, and I know that I'm going to have a subtraction symbol. Yes? Where does the 9 go? On the right side. Okay, and then what comes after is going to come before. So 9 less than what? Here's what it says. Twice the cube of a number. First of all, what does twice mean? It means you're going to take 2 and multiply it by something. So I know I'm going to have a 2 and I'm going to multiply. But what am I going to multiply 2 by? What does it say? The cube of a number. How do you write the cube of a number? N cubed. We like to use the variable n cubed. Cubed means raised to the 3rd power. Number 10. What's the first real important word you see? Quotient. So what do we use when we see quotient? Yep. And what kind of a division sign do we use? Fraction bar. Absolutely fraction bar. So quotient of what? So what comes next is what's going to go in the numerator, right? The quotient of 7. Okay, so that comes right here. Boom. Quotient of 7. Okay, and then the and, that's connecting my quotient. So what goes in the denominator? What does it say? The sum. What does sum mean? Addition. The sum of what? A number and 5. Good? Very good. You guys are doing a great job with these. 11. The product. What does product mean? Multiplication. The product of 4. Okay, so you're going to take 4 and multiply it by something. 4 times the sum. Okay, we did one like this when the notes 2 days ago. What are we multiplying for? What does it say? By the sum. The only way to ensure that 4 is actually going to get multiplied by the sum is to put what around the sum? You got to put parentheses around the sum. So times the sum of a number and 12. You have to make sure that you have parentheses. If you only had a dot, it would not be right, because then you would be taking 4 and multiplying it by n. That's not what it says to do. It says to take 4 and multiply it by the sum. Good? Next, number 12. The cube root. What does cube root mean? The mini 3. Boom. Yes? The cube root of what? What does it say? The cube root of the difference of. So underneath my cube root symbol, I'm going to have what? Subtraction symbol. Yeah. The difference of what? A number and 3. These aren't that hard, guys. Whenever you really take your time and you just go from left to right and you just write down the things that you know, it'll all come together. And then, guys, we have all of the properties at the bottom, which is, that chart is the same chart that you guys saw while you were working on your activity today. Commutative, associative, all those. Does anybody want any clarification on what these properties say? Okay. You guys did a great job. Signing off.